Hi, today I'm going to do a short lesson on lessons 3.2 and 3.3. So what we're going to talk about today is a multiplication table. And in a multiplication table, you see lots of different numbers. One of the things you're going to notice are the numbers that you're going to multiply together. Those are called factors. Say if I had a problem like 3 times 2, the 3 and the 2 are both considered factors. Another term we're going to look at is the term product. Now, product is the answer to a multiplication fact. So looking up above, the product of 3 times 2 would be 6. The next term we're going to look at is square numbers. Now, square numbers are all of the shaded areas, the numbers that are in the shaded areas here on our chart. Square numbers are really just the product of a counting number multiplied by itself. For example, this one right here, this problem is really 2 times 2. That is a square number. If you looked at 36 right here, that is really 6 times 6. If I looked all the way down here at 144, that is really just multiplying 12 times 12. So those are called square numbers. The other thing to realize in a multiplication chart is that a multiplication chart looks like there's a lot of problems that you have to know, but really in reality, you know a lot of these problems already really quickly. For example, you know all of the times 1. So you really know this whole row and or column and this whole row. You also know the 2 is pretty easy because that's just doubling. So you can kind of think, oh, I already know those. You know the tens really easily, so let's take out the tens column, the tens, oops, the tens row, and fives, you know the fives, and the fives. So really, when you look at a multiplication chart, there aren't as many facts that you really have to memorize. This section right in here is probably the hardest section for most kids, and those are your sixes, your sevens, your eights, and your 9 facts. Another thing I want you to kind of be aware of on a multiplication table is the fact that there's lots of different patterns. Let's say, for example, you wanted to look at the tens. If you look down that tens column, I see a pattern happening here that in the tens column, each time the tens column is going up by 1. So that's an easy pattern that I see in the tens column. Let's look at the threes column. If I'm looking in the threes column, do I see a pattern? 3, 6, 9, 2, 5, 8, 1, 4, 7, 0. 3, 6. Oh, look at that. I bet if I were to keep going, the numbers that are here in the ones digit might start following a pattern. Your job today is to try to find a pattern on the multiplication chart and then describe it. So on page 58, you are asked to find a pattern in the nines multiplication facts. So look down the nines, see if you can find some sort of pattern and describe it. Question 2 wants you to look in the fives column. Describe a pattern that you see there. And then question number 3 asks you just to find any other patterns you see in a multiplication chart. Then, after you finish page 58, you're going to work on page 59, and that's going to be our lesson today, and then we will come together and I have another activity for you. Good luck, and if you have any other questions, please watch this video again.